Welcome to this tapping session on releasing the resistance to wanting, to desiring, to expanding, to knowing what it is that you want. This is a session that we're going to do together that I did inside of my money membership M-Spot, and you can find out more about that in the description below. But I wanted to share this here because this topic is so important. Because as women, we have been trained out of our wanting. We have been trained to stop desiring, to see desire and wanting as four-letter words. And that's because of the patriarchal programming that we have had to deal with since the beginning of time, where women have been told that they need to get smaller, they need to contract, they need to dim down, they need to speak less, be less, want less. And that's what constitutes a good woman. Am I right? So we're going against that programming and we're stepping into a more expansive, more free version of you. Because if you can't identify what you want, if you can't even say like, I want a tuna salad sandwich for lunch, if you can't even go there, then how are you going to welcome in a 6+ figure business or a 7+ figure business or a $10,000 client? It's going to be a lot harder. If you can't identify the quote unquote smaller things, you're not going to be able to allow and receive and welcome in the quote unquote bigger things. So use this session to start identifying what it is your beautiful heart and your beautiful soul really want. And at the end of the session, I'm going to invite you to share one thing that you want in the comments below. I would love to know. As you start expanding and identifying your desires, you're going to find that, oh my gosh, I'm having a little bit of fun with my life. There's a little bit of joy and pleasure that is coming into my life that I maybe have never experienced before. And ooh, what a delight that is. And why, you're going to ask yourself, why have I been keeping this from myself for so long? That's not something to feel guilty or bad about. That's just something to notice. And then you can continue wanting, continue feeling that joy, continue feeling that pleasure, continue expanding, continue making money, and continue loving your life. All right, enjoy the tapping session, and I'll see you on the flip side. So take a sip of water if you have water. And we're going to start on the karate chop point. Even though there's all this resistance to letting myself want and desire, to letting myself dream, to even identify what it is that I want. And it's keeping me from letting myself think about expansion and having more and creating an even more beautiful life than I have right now. And it's keeping me from believing that I can have what I want. And there's a big part of me that doesn't want to let this resistance go. Maybe because I feel like if I write it down, that means I have to know how I can bring it into my life. I have to have a plan, a strategy. And maybe I don't want to let this go because part of me feels safer not dreaming and not letting myself want. Because if I do, I'm just going to be disappointed again. And I really want to get to the bottom of this. And I want to love, honor, and acknowledge all of my parts, especially the ones that are resistant to letting themselves want or desire or dream for any reason. And the parts of me that have let themselves want or desire or dream in the past and been disappointed. I want to send some extra love to those parts. I want to thank them for showing up today and trying to keep me safe in the only way that they know how. Okay, shake out your hands, deep breath. This resistance to letting myself want, the resistance to letting myself be clear on what I desire, the resistance to letting myself dream, all this disappointment that I've had in the past from not getting what I want or not reaching my dream. I don't want that to happen again. And the way I guard against that not happening again is by staying small. By just being happy and grateful with what I have. Because it feels like nothing's ever going to change. I mean, I've never had overflow. I've always just lived in this way, paycheck to paycheck or whatever my situation is. And the dream is too big and too far away. I don't want to write it down and remind myself of where I'm not and what I can't have. But I want a bigger life. I want overflow. I want abundance. I want expansion. I want to make an impact. I want to build things. I want to be of service. I want to enjoy myself. I want to delight in the world. I want to have fun. And it's a lot easier to do that when I know what that looks like. And anyone that's accomplished anything meaningful to them has first known what they wanted, has had the courage to let themselves see it and think that that's potentially possible for me. That's possible for me. That's possible for me. It starts with the dream. It starts with the vision. It starts with the desire. Because if I can't even identify my desires, what I want for lunch, what might be nice to have on my wall in my office, what I want to do this weekend, how am I ever going to welcome in a desire like a 6 or 7 figure business? Or like running my own studio? Maybe I can start small. Maybe there's something to these tiny micro shifts. And maybe I don't want to write down the big thing yet. Maybe that's too stretchy. It's a little too far for me, too far out, too hot, too many degrees. That's like 90 degrees or 120 degrees, and I'm just not there yet. Maybe I would like new inky pens, because those are fun. Maybe new gel pens would delight me. Maybe a new mug, because I've been drinking out of the same old mug for the longest time, and perhaps I can just get a new one that I really like and makes me feel special and taken care of. Maybe I can start accepting compliments. Maybe that's something that I can put on the list. I want to be someone who can accept a compliment fully. I want to be someone who isn't afraid to start small because it feels stupid or meaningless. I want to be someone who lets herself start noticing what might be fun. I don't have to do anything with this list. I don't have to take any action. I don't have to make anything happen. I am not creating a plan or a strategy. I want to be someone who simply notices things that might be nice and writes them down with no other expectations except becoming a woman who knows what she wants. That's it. I want to tap into my 5-year-old self, my 10-year-old self, my maybe 13 or 16-year-old self, and ask her for some guidance. What might delight her? What might light her up from the inside out? What would she think is so cool to have or to want or experience? And then maybe I can fast forward to my 110-year-old self. And I can ask her what she thinks. What are some things I should be on the lookout for? Maybe I can be playful with this. Maybe it doesn't have to be an exercise in, can I make this happen? Or what's the plan I need to make? Or how can I manipulate my reality to get what I want? But maybe I can just treat this as an exercise in expanding my imagination and letting myself dream. Any remaining resistance I have to allowing myself to notice what I want, I'm letting that go now. Any and all past programming that told me it's not nice to want, or it's not safe to want, or I shouldn't want this thing or that thing, wherever and whenever that came from, I choose to let it go now. Letting go of all of that past programming, all the way back through my past. And I'm tapping into a little bit of joy, a little bit of magic, letting myself have fun with this exercise, and releasing any and all expectations I may have attached to it. It's safe to want what I want. It's safe to want. It's safe to desire. It's safe to just write down what I want. I'm tapping into the version of me who is aware of what she wants, who's excited about the world and everything that she can do, be, and have and experience within it. And I'm going to let myself push the edges of my imagination. Okay, shake out your hands. Take a deep breath. Just tune back into your body. Notice if any memories, emotions, or thoughts have come up. Thank you so much for tapping with me in today's session. I just want to share one final thought, and that is that you don't have to figure out how to get what you want. The whole point of this tapping session is getting you in touch with and giving yourself permission to figure out what you want, figure out what are your desires, to consider that maybe you have been playing a little bit of a smaller game than you thought that you were, or maybe you have put limits on yourself that don't actually need to be there. Maybe the patriarchal limits of your thinking and your imagination have affected you more than you think. So I want you to go out into the world. This is your lucky mission if you choose to accept it. Go out into the world and start noticing, like, what would be cool to have? What would be cool to have, to do, to experience, to wear, to delight in? And just start noticing. And as you start noticing, I want you to keep a running list of what those desires are. And there's nothing too big and there's nothing too small. It could be like, I want that lip gloss. That is the lip gloss that I want. That is amazing lip gloss. It could be, I want a full roster of 10K clients with a wait list. Boom, awesome. It could be, I want to go to the space station and get on a rocket ship. I don't know. I don't want to do that, but maybe you do. So don't dim your imagination to match what you think is realistic in your life. Simply allow yourself the space to want and desire, and then write it down. That's it. That's the only point of the exercise. It's not to magically make it happen. It's simply to write it down, to notice, and to expand your energetic capacity to dream. Let me know one desire that came up for you in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for tapping with me. If you feel guilty about wanting or desiring, I'm going to encourage you to go and check out my free training, the Guilt-Free Money Reset. That training is going to help you stop undercharging, overgiving, and holding yourself back from receiving more. So it's going to help you reset your money mindset, get you in right relationship with money, and start receiving with ease. It's totally free. You can get it in the description beneath this video. Thanks again for watching. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel for more, and I'll see you in the next one.